Alright, so this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth, and I just started the P1000 recording. Please hashtag my name. That's a very powerful way to lend tangible support to the effort to help make the truth known. When you go to my channel, if you decide to, please explore my liked videos to see what you would like to share there, what you would like to let people know about. One of my the trillions missing, that was shared by a person that recently commented on my local sun video. Because he did that, I went over to his channel and saw he had a powerful documentary I wanted to make known. I'm going to zoom in right now on the moon because it may be hard to see later. As I'm sure you can tell right now. It's more to establish the reality of how this works out. The sun is going to appear over about in the middle of the view from this location. This is the Prince Resort in Cherry Grove, South Carolina. We're scheduled to have the sun appear here at 6:03 Eastern Standard Time. Hey, good morning, Ron. Now I'll show you the numbers that we have here today. I'll get a few more shots of the moon as time rolls on. And we can see that the tide is obviously lower now. The sun and the moon moving a course above and the stars moving a course above the stationary Earth are a celestial timepiece. And people come from all over the world to enjoy the beauty and majesty of creation here. So when I'm showing the local sun, what essentially I'm illustrating when I zoom in and out is the way that the light of the sun interacts with the clouds as well. I produce a lot of raw content, a lot of raw footage, so that if you're watching this live broadcast right now, know that there's a P1000 recording that's going concurrently with this, and you'll be able to hear a surround sound on the iPhone 10 recording and a zoomed out view in 4K. So earlier I showed you the moon high in the sky. Right now I I can't see it at all. I'll keep my eye on it so I can show you. It's obvious that the sun is hitting the clouds up above here as it moves towards us. It has to do with perspective. Some people can't get their mind around the fact that we have seasons and tides and all that because of the sun moving and moon moving above a stationary Earth. They can't get their head around that. So the sun is appearing here and will vanish over in the middle of the view there today. How about that? You can check out the numbers if you want. Where the sun and the moon appear and vanish, and their duration of visibility between one another especially is very different than what we would see if we lived on a spinning globe. The other thing is, what should be so obvious is that the lighting would be massively different if it was 1.5 million Earth sizes, as we're told, and 93 million miles away. That's ridiculous. It's as ridiculous as Santa Claus delivering presents with flying reindeer. Okay, so now the moon is visible. I'm gonna go ahead and get positioned so I can zoom in and show you. So the moon gives off a cool light independently, just as Scripture says. It's the female of the two. The sun is masculine, as Scripture says. This is the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier. I wouldn't recommend swimming that close to the fishing pier, especially at this time of the day. I hope they're okay. It's feeding time. I've got a belt I could throw a tourniquet on if I need to, if I could get to them quick enough. I've seen a shark in knee-deep water, a 6-foot shark right in front here. That's one of the reasons they don't recommend swimming within 100 feet of the pier, because there's a lot of fishing going on, and when fish are attracted, predator fish, shark, are also attracted. So my friend walking on over here with the surfboard should reflect beautifully off of the wet sand when he gets to it. There it is. All the symmetry and reflections are predictable. That's one of the reasons why I'll show even urban reflections like puddles of water when I'm driving a car, because, well, that all shows the symmetry of the reflections, and that the water is actually level. It's not just flat, it's level. There would be no level anywhere in a world that was moving in all the directions that NASA authoritatively asserts, and the scientific community that they are feeding. That's the point of the sphere of deception, the sphere of influence, the globe. I'm exposing the global lie, the global deception. So even the Corbett report that produced that video is showing the globe in their video. I'll mention that, and I said on the comments, I don't know if it'll show up, I put excellent, sharing. I added it to my playlist, and I had the link show up in the comments so that if they click on it, they'll see that their video is there and a whole lot more. I'm in this to expose the reality of the world that we live in to a population that, quite frankly, is largely uninterested. A majority of the population of the world is relatively uninterested in this information. Some are brave enough to add it to their video playlist and share it. So the gentleman who commented on my local sun video, he had very few subscribers, but he's got one more. I subbed to him, and I appreciate his sharing that video that I shared, and that's part of how it goes. Armed with the technology to expose the reality of the world we live in, that's powerful. A surfer is a small example of what happens with the ship out on the horizon. It's all scalable. There's a lot of water with tidal activity. It causes the hull to apparently disappear, but I zoom in on long distance views over the ocean. We've got the evidence of long distance photography to prove that we're not on a globe as we're being told. Now, artificial intelligence lies. NASA employs AI, big time. So does Google, YouTube, Facebook. Watson went online in New York, quantum computer. Nicholson, 1968, has done some excellent work. There's a lot of excellent work being done by a lot of people. I sent Richie from Boston my local sun videos. He's just up the coast from me in New York. I don't know if he's made it on down here. I sent him my video playlist, my liked videos. I hope he reaches out. I've got some amazing occurrences of the sun appearing in the midst of the clouds. That seems to really get people's attention. It's because we know we've been told it's like 93 million miles away. And when we can see it right in the midst of the clouds, that's pretty compelling evidence. Seeing is believing. What do we see, and what do we believe about what we see? So based on perspective, the way that we've got a lot of diffused light because the direct light of the sun isn't shooting across the water yet. It will in a few minutes. Maybe 15 minutes. I'll probably do 2 videos. We don't have any direct light obviously hitting the buildings over there because clouds are in the way. The sun is shooting over the top of the clouds hitting the moon, and yet the moon gives off its own light. It's energized by the sun. We're energized by the sun. So are the plants. I require less physical nutrition when I'm in the sun a lot. Require a lot of water though. I took a bath this morning, a long soak, watching the documentary I posted, and I lost 3.5 pounds or so from the time I took the bath. I lost over 1.5 pounds in the tub, and then when I got out and dried, I lost another several pounds. It's kind of interesting. You know, I'm not peeing in the bathtub, and I wasn't drinking any liquid at that time when I was in the bathtub. What happens is the highly aggressive water that I've put in there, the drinking water. In the bath, I add a 1/4 cup of coconut oil, which is good for the skin, hair, nails, brain. It's brain food, coconut oil is. And I have a 1/4, or actually a cup of baking soda, which is antifungal. Let's face it, there's athlete's foot, jock itch, dandruff. It kills all of it. How about that? And it's alkalinizing, energizing, it's anti-cancer. My mom told me about 25 years ago, right before she died, she said, Bobby, if the cancer doesn't get you, the treatment will. She was right. Okay, so in the lighting of the clouds, I'm focusing in on a cloud and a shadow from the cloud. Shadow because its relationship to the sun. Job 37 proclaims to everybody forever that the sun is in the midst of the clouds. And 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 mentions and proclaims to everybody forever they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So now we're getting really close to seeing some direct light from the sun. If you're watching one of my videos and you see the lens come out in the bottom right corner, you can know that I've got a P1000 recording that's going to be linked to this. So the lighting, like I say, the hot spots around the clouds, that's an indicator. The fact that the whole horizon is not blasting with light is evidence that the sun is much, much closer. There is also something you can check out as well with the stationary Earth. I hashtag that too, is that there are multiple layers of clouds and directions of movement that are different. Different elevations that the clouds are off the face of the Earth, and they're moving in different directions sometimes. That's information for you to critically evaluate. You don't even have to do a Google search. You can just look up and look at the clouds, watch them. I know we have a lot of modified weather and a lot of added particulate in the air we breathe. However, there are beautiful clouds from time to time that still are visible. Look at how high the moon is in the sky today, and a few days ago it was setting at the sunrise. Just keep that in mind. There's not the Earth is stationary and the sun, moon, and stars move. The lights in the sky. There we go. The occurrence in the appearing of the sun in the midst of the clouds happens when the sun is low on the horizon. I've captured that appearance as well with the moon in the midst of the clouds. They're about the same size and distance away as best I can tell. There is mystery with the creation, that's for sure. I don't have all the answers. God does. So the local sun means that NASA lies, and they know it. Artificial intelligence lies. AI can shut down the power grid wherever, whenever God allows, for as long as He allows it. God is still in charge, all-knowing and all-powerful. It won't hurt my feelings if you have different sound on while I'm showing this. I believe my commentary is relevant. That's why I'm saying it. It's just that I understand some people may want to just critically evaluate the content. That's why I don't always have to be in front of the camera. I don't want to get in the way of the truth. I want it to be visible for you to evaluate. So in the lower left corner, we see relatively unobstructed view of the sun. And then there's just a tapestry of clouds that it's in the midst of. And I believe that that's evident. I would say it's self-evident. However, that's only to somebody that's aware of it. I can't unsee this reality. I can't go back to... I was never at the point where I thought it didn't matter. When I first looked at this, and I was told that we don't live on a globe, that they're lying about that too, I knew they were lying about evolution. We still have monkeys. And the lie is far bigger than that. And the level of control and deception is more massive than a lot of people can get their head around. It doesn't mean I've got all the answers. It just means that I'm very aware that the level of control and deception is massive. Imagine if you could control the weather and public opinion, what you could do with this world. You could buy all the influence you wanted if you created the money out of thin air. And that's what happens. Human nature is very vulnerable to that level of control, fear of death, and the promise of fortune. All of that working together is a powerful synergistic way that Satan levers his influence. The amazing thing about all this is God is so much more powerful in the reality of who He is and what He does in a human heart to give new life, passion, purpose, eternal perspective, and the power to do what I couldn't do prior to this, being born again. And the pleasure to enjoy all of this even in the midst of opposition. Tremendous opposition from friends, family, and it's just amazing. I'll do it anyway. I'll expose the reality anyway. That's what I'm created to do. So now we can see some direct light hitting the buildings down there because it's shooting over the top of those clouds. There's over almost 2,400 liked videos on my liked video playlist. I pretty much like almost all my videos, and I share them, I add them to that list, and then I update them daily. I may move them around a bit based on an emphasis. And you can just, if you care to, just scroll through the playlist, the liked videos, and see what I found out. And you may want to drop in on some of the commenting. If you were to hashtag Robert Forsch on any of your, anywhere, it'll send a powerful message. I'm muted from a lot of the videos that I'm in, apparently, because there will be no acknowledgement of my comment on some videos. I can tell that I can still see the videos that I'm in. I've been viewed like between 30 and 40 million times, flat Earth content, whether it's PewDiePie, Logan Paul, Triggered Tro, Not Exactly Normal, the London Guardian, BBC, and their HBO. There's a lot of occurrences of what I've said. You know, do you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating? We don't have toilet water flying out on people in Australia because of gravity. Well, hello. It's just water seeking its level. And then one of the favorites is, they're lying, I ain't buying. Who's they? Well, Satan. And more. All of his unknowing participants. Pretty spectacular today. So thank you all for the public and private encouragement. My phone number is an anytime number, 1-843-504-1776. Feel free to reach out anytime you like.